Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have a video talking about my August 2023 TBR. I have a total of 10 books on this month's TBR, and that's a bit ambitious, but I believe I can get it done because I'm actually going to finish up slightly ahead in July. So, I have 10 books from many genres. One of them is a new release book. Although thank goodness it's a really short one, so it makes it a bit easier to read longer books that I have. So I have a couple of tomes on here that I wanted to get to that will make it easier to do that. So the first book I'll talk about is that new release. It's a Star Trek book, Star Trek Prodigy Escape Route. The Star Trek Prodigy books, they had 2 books come out back in the beginning of the year, and I read both of them and reviewed them both on the channel. I thought they were delightful, lots of fun. In fact, I'm using them in my classroom now. And then this third book's been a long time coming. And pre-orders for this third book, I saw a slight uptick in them online when the Star Trek Prodigy show was sadly canceled. And of course, the showrunners are working on trying to get another studio to pick it up, and they're trying to get people to buy all things Star Trek Prodigy. So it's natural that in the frantic need to get more Star Trek Prodigy, people would try to buy the book. So I hope that it's successful and we can get more Prodigy books. But Escape Route comes out at the beginning of August, so I'll read that quite early. Next is my only other Star Trek book for the month, and that is Warpath by David Mack. David Mack is a superb author. He's written a ton of great Star Trek novels. The Destiny trilogy was great. His inclusion in The Fall, A Ceremony of Losses, was superb. He orchestrated the Vanguard series. He did a bunch of other things. David Mack is a superb writer, and so I'm excited to get into Warpath. Fairly short book. Going to Star Wars, there's no new Star Wars releases in the month of August, which frees up my availability just a slight bit. So the first book I'll talk about is the final Young Jedi Knights book, titled Crisis at Crystal Reef. I have been slowly reading through the Young Jedi Knights books over the course of the last year, and this is the final book of 14. I've read the first 13, and I've enjoyed all of them, though some certainly well more than others. And once I read this book, I'll be able to do a ranking of them, which I'm really excited to do. But this is one of the Star Wars books that I'm reading. Now that will be done with the Young Jedi Knights books, I'll need some other new Star Wars material for me to read. And so I did a book haul video talking about me buying all these books recently, but I'm going to start The Fate of the Jedi with the first book, Outcasts by Aaron Alston. This is the 9-book series, the start of it. It is different cover design, not what I would pick out for a cover design, but they match, which I enjoy. I've wanted to read this for a while. This is the last major Star Wars series I have left. Once I read this, all I have is like standalones and maybe a trilogy. So I'm really excited to get to this book and this series, and I hope it lives up to the hype, because my roommate in college read this, and it was one of his favorite book series of all time. Next, going away from the sci-fi fantasy, going into mystery, I'm going to talk about Agatha Christie with her book Taken at the Flood. This is a Hercule Poirot novel. This is a Poirot mystery book that I actually have not even read the write-up on. I just saw it for really cheap at the bookstore and bought it. I've enjoyed almost all the Agatha Christie books I've read. The last one I read wasn't my favorite, but it was okay. So if you've read this book, let me know your thoughts on it, but I'll be reading this. It'll be a nice quick read. I also have a fantasy novel, The Fall of Shannara, The Black Elfstone. This is the first in a 4-book series that is the final Shannara series that Terry Brooks produced. I've been reading the Shannara books ever since 2017, when I picked up The Sword of Shannara, which is one of my favorite fantasy novels ever. And ever since then, I've been slowly working through his works. And the only books of his I haven't really read are the Word and Void trilogy and his newest series, the Daughter of Darkness, Child of Light series. So, and I'll get to that eventually. But this is the end of his Shannara. I know that Word and Void is connected to the Shannara universe, but this is the last of the Shannara universe books. And so I'm excited to get to this book. I'll try to read one a month over the course of the next 4 months, but we'll see how that goes. I read at the beginning of the year a trilogy from him that just didn't stick the landing, so I hope that this one does, because this is the end of Shannara. Next, I have the book, a John Grisham legal thriller, The Brethren. I've just been enjoying John Grisham so much. I enjoyed so many of his books recently. I try to read about one every 2 months from him. That doesn't always pan out, but I try to. And so this is the book I'm reading this month. My dad, of course, is a big John Grisham fan, and he told me all about this book, and he really enjoyed it as well. Next on my list is a YA science fiction post-apocalyptic dystopian book called Ruins. It's the third book in the Partials trilogy. I read the first book and reviewed it. I read the second book. The review will be up soon. I don't know if it's already up, but it'll be up soon. And I'm having a blast with this. Dan Wells is quickly becoming a favorite author of mine. And so this is the final book in that trilogy. And I'm excited to get to. Sadly, I had to order this online, so it's not a good copy, but it's what I have. However, I do have a book that is a pretty good copy, and I got for really cheap, and that is the science fiction book, The Relentless Moon. It's like an alternate fiction history book about putting astronauts on the moon and putting astronauts on Mars, but instead of that, but instead of just the straight history of it, it's alternate, and it also focuses on the women who could have been involved. And so it's really that kind of that For All Mankind feeling type of a book. And this is the third in the trilogy. I've heard that there's supposed to be a fourth book coming. I'm not sure if it's actually going to come, but for right now there's 3 books, and this is the last of them, and it's the biggest. It's a tome. My definition of a tome is 500 pages, and this book's about 520 pages, so it just about makes the list. And then the final book of the month is the biggest book of the month, and I'm hoping I'll get to it, and I think I will, is the book Wrath by John Gwynne. I read the first book of John Gwynne's, not Ruin, that was the one I just read. I read Malice back in 2021, and then in 2022 I read Valor. I'm getting all of the titles. I read Malice 2021, Valor in 2022, and then about a month ago I read Ruin in 2023, and this time I just want to go ahead and finish the series because I enjoyed Ruin quite a lot. I thought it was a really well done story, and I've heard that Wrath really ties everything up well, and I really think that John Gwynne is my kind of writing style. I wish I had read the books closer together so I would remember them more. So those are the books on my TBR for August. I got fantasy, sci-fi, legal thrillers, mysteries, tie-in fiction books, YA books. I've got quite a lot of genres going. I'm pretty happy with myself that I've been able to do that. So if you've read any of these books and you enjoyed them or didn't enjoy them or have other thoughts, let me know down in the comments section. Which ones are you most excited to see me read? Let me know all your thoughts regarding this down in the comments section below. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video. That would help me a lot, trying to get more subscribers, trying to reach out, talk to more people about books. But until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.